Considered as the first philosopher, Thales is known for claiming that the universal substance that all things are made of is water. Wow, that's dumb. Everybody knows everything is made of quarks, or atoms, or something. Let me check my phone. Sure, Thales got a lot of things wrong, but keep in mind he was the first philosopher, and definitely lacked a phone. Let's take a look at 3 reasons why Thales should be given more attention. Thales was born in 625 BCE and lived in Miletus, a city in the kingdom of Lydia. Around Thales' time, people sought answers in religion. Thales and his followers sought answers in natural phenomena. In 585 BCE, Thales observed an eclipse. The eclipse took place during a battle between the Medes and the Lydians, which gained him notoriety in the region.
Thales said that the sun suffers eclipse when the moon comes to be in front of it, the day in which the moon produces the eclipse being marked by its concealment.
Thales is also supposed to have altered the flow of the Halys River in order to aid the army of the Lydian king Croesus in his war with the Persian king Cyrus. This isn't philosophy, it's early science. It is important to note that at this time, there wouldn't have been as clear of a distinction between philosophy and science as there is today. Thales was known to be quite the traveler and traveled to Egypt, where he studied geometry, ideas for which he helped spread to Greece. It's worth noting that ancient Greece didn't invent thought. Mathematics and astronomy were being studied long before Thales in ancient Egypt and Babylon. Thales is said to really love astronomy, so much that
They say that once when Thales was gazing upwards while doing astronomy, he fell into a well, and that a witty and charming Thracian serving girl made fun of him for being eager to know the things in the heavens, but failing to notice that which was just behind him and right by his feet.
Perhaps Thales' astronomical knowledge is exaggerated. Maybe he never fell down the well. What's important for historiographers of philosophy is that Thales looked at natural phenomena and asked, why? In the archonship of Damascus, Thales is regarded as a sage, one of the 7 wise men of Greece. Yeah, but what about the water though? He says everything is water, right? That's not so wise, is it? Yes, this is part of Thales' metaphysics. The word metaphysics sounds scary, but it's just the study of what there is in the world, or the philosophical study of nature. For example, time, space, God, cause, reality. Thales wanted to know how things existed. Thales and his students believed there was one original substance which everything came from or is made of. In Greek, this universal substance is known as arche. You can imagine this universal substance as the building block for which all things are made of. But there is only one building block. This is why he is known as a monist, because mono equals one. But why did they believe everything came from one substance? It was a commonly held belief in the ancient Greek world to believe the world existed in everlasting motion. Thales believed if the world was capable of everlasting motion, it was also capable of change. The world around us assumed different forms, vaporous mist, liquid and ice. Perhaps these different forms, regardless of their properties, were just a variation of water. According to Aristotle, another astronomical theory coming from Thales was his belief that the Earth, which he thought was flat, rested on a body of water. Thales' justification being that nothing rests on air, but things do rest on water. Yeah, right, but this is still dumb though. It is important to note that many civilizations at this time fully understood the importance of water. The Mesopotamian Epic of Gilgamesh, the Egyptian and Indus cultures, they all had religious mythologies inspired by nature and fertility. As their river civilizations depended on water, Thales was different. He does not claim a revelation from the gods, but he makes his claim based on observations, using reasons To explain, Thales stated the universal stuff is water.
This is why he declared that the earth rests on water. He may have gotten this idea from seeing that the nourishment of all things is moist, and that even the hot itself comes to be from this and lives on this. The seeds of all things have a moist nature, and water is the principle of the nature of moist things.
Thales is suggested to have reached the conclusion by suggesting the nourishment of all things is moist. Plants need water, animals need water. Water came from the sky and was in the air. Miletus was a city beside the sea. For Thales, the evidence was all around him. In reference to Thales, Bertrand Russell comments on hydrogen in the 19th century.
The statement that everything is made of water is to be regarded as a scientific hypothesis, and by no means a foolish one. 20 years ago, the received view was that everything is made of hydrogen, which is 2/3 of water. The Greeks were rash in their hypotheses, but the Milesian school, at least, was prepared to test them empirically.
Oh, that's actually pretty pog. I'm starting to see the importance of Thales now in the history of thought, as using reasons based on experience may be a better way of finding truth than having faith in mythological doctrines. Unless, of course, you're a postmodernist who believes truth can never be obtained or is relative. Or if you are critical of whether Thales really did use reason and observation, or just used these as tools to support his presuppositions. Oh yeah, that's not so poggers. Even though Thales and other early Greek philosophers were known to use reason and evidence, separate from the gods, to advance their philosophical claims, it's important to note they mostly adhered to the Greek gods. Maybe his contributions are exaggerated. Maybe he made a major mistake about water as the arche, but he did inspire early Greek philosophers. To summarize, the value of Thales' inspiration here is the story of the olive harvest, as told by Aristotle.
The story goes that when other Milesians were reproaching Thales for his poverty, supposing that philosophy is useless, he learned from his astronomy that the olive crop would be large. Then, while it was still winter, he obtained a little money and made deposits on all the olive presses in Miletus and Chios, and since no one bid against him, he rented them cheaply. When the time came, suddenly many requested the presses all at once, and he rented them out on whatever terms he wished, and so he made a great deal of money.
Ah, so you're saying maybe the whole everything is made of water thing is a decent effort for someone of his time, but actually impressive because he used reason to justify his claims rather than appeals to mythology like ancient religions of the time. Exactly, especially when you consider the philosophical advantages we have. The first philosophers didn't have that. The major literature of their day was mythological. Well, he also believed that magnets have souls because it moves iron. So that would mean my phone case, and my wallet are all people that deserve my respect. If you think Thales is an underrated philosopher, consider liking and watching the next video about his student, Anaximander.